What's up, and welcome to the Single Player Experience. I'm your host, Sebastian Malden, and in this episode, I'm going to introduce you to the 2022 bullet hell RPG that you're probably sleeping on and that you should definitely add to your video game backlog. DJ, hit the beat. This is the Single Player Experience, the podcast that helps single player gamers manage their video game backlog. I'm Sebastian Malden, and my quest is to help you manage your ever-growing gaming backlog by letting you know which single-player games are worth your time and money so that you can have the best single-player experience. Now, without further ado, let's start the show. DJ, cut the beat. When I saw the trailer for Grid Force, I really wasn't interested. The trailer didn't wow me, and there were so many games out that I knew that this game was probably going to be one that I was going to skip. This is evidence of how dumb I can be sometimes. I'm so glad that I didn't skip out on this fun-ass game. Grid Force Mask of the Goddess is a grid-based bullet hell game with a gorgeous art style, solid gameplay, and a deep roster of playable characters. You play as Donna, who wakes up in a strange land with no memory of who she is and why she's there. Thankfully, she meets up with a squad of ladies who not only want to help her recover her memory, but also want to help her defeat the goddesses and save the future. Or so it seems. Let's talk about the gameplay. The game plays like a shooter version of dodgeball. You have a side of the grid that you are free to move, dodge, and shoot in, and your opponents have the exact same thing. Your goal is to defeat all your opponents before they defeat you. Add in some elemental damage and some power-ups that you can perform, and you really have a fun game here. Let's talk about this game's story. I really dug the lore of this game. The way that this game tells this story is a mixture between the game's in-text bubbles and the detailed manga-style cutscenes that you can read at your own pace. The fact that the world is now the grid, which is the shattered remnants of the old world that has been cobbled all together. You can see a lot of different cultures represented in the settings of this game. A huge plus for Grid Force is the game's cast of characters. I can't stress enough how dope it is that all these characters in this game are diverse women. This isn't just a gimmick. You can tell that each character was given a wealth of details and that there was a lot of love put into each character. The main characters that make up your team are Kamiko, who's a quick-tempered kimono-wearing warrior who has a dope sword, Bird, a bazooka-toting easygoing islander, and Pan, who is a wind-wheeling goofball in a floating chair. It's really cool how much freedom you're given in leveling your characters and the roster. Through the element that you earn, you can make your character really good at wielding an element, and also raise the physical attributes that's associated with that element. It's a level system that feels unique and well thought out. There are a ton of characters that you can recruit for your squad. This brings me to another plus in this game's favor. The story choices that you can make in this game feel like they have weight behind them. It feels like every choice in this game matters. The game even has a disclaimer that tells you when you're about to make a really big decision that's going to impact the narrative. A simple choice that you make decides who can join your team, or it unlocks more world-building lore for you to really dive into, or even decides who lives and who dies. I also want to shout out the art style. This game is colorful, vibrant, and extremely detailed. It features a 2D pixel art style that looks simply amazing. No game is perfect, so here are some gripes that I had with this one. I feel like the way you block or deflect attacks could be a lot better. I like the mechanic, but it doesn't feel like it was executed as well as it could have been. The health bar does get lost with all the action and the colors that are displayed on the screen. And my last gripe is that the background music stopped working a few times during the game. It happened in parts like in the middle of battles, which is weird because that's when we normally hear the background music. Overall, I think Grid Force Mask of the Goddess is an indie game that is a strong contender for Sleeper Game of the Year. If you want to play a game that has addicting gameplay and a diverse and fun roster of characters, then you should definitely play Grid Force. This game has its flaws, but for every flaw, there are 3 things this game absolutely nails. I want to again shout out how unique and refreshing it is that all the playable characters are diverse women. If you're looking for a fast-paced action RPG that is fresh and unique, then look no further than Grid Force Mask of the Goddess. I'm giving this one an 8 out of 10. This game is available on Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, PC, Xbox Series X, and S. Definitely check this one out. So, that is the game recommendation of the week that you should consider adding to your backlog list. In case you didn't know, in this show we practice the 10 games backlog rule. In this practice, you log 10 games down. Those 10 games are your active backlog. To be as productive as you can be, we recommend that you only play up to 3 games at one time. One single player narrative game, one game that's going to be your chill and relax game, and another game that's going to be your palate cleanser game. That game is a game that you just play when you're not in the mood for the other narrative game. When you complete or get tired of one of those games, it leaves the top 10 list. Then you decide which game is added to the list and which game on the list advances to your active 3 games. Grid Force would work great in all 3 of the active spots, to be honest. If you want me or my community of gamers to give you feedback on your backlog list, then join us in the Single Player Experience Discord server. Once you're in, feel free to share your backlog list or talk about good single player experiences that you've had lately. The link to join the free Single Player Experience Discord server is in the show notes. Everyone, thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace.